Today I want to talk about all of the authors that I have multiple unread books from. So I recently did a video. I've actually literally just filmed it, like I finished 30 seconds ago, bringing you up to speed on some of my reading progress in the year, specifically focused on reducing my physical TBR, which has had varying degrees of success. But I had a bunch of micro goals that in theory was going to help me achieve that macro goal of reducing my physical TBR. And one of those elements was making sure I had no more than one unread book by the same author on my shelf. And today we're going to do a little bit of a check-in on all of the authors that are guilty as charged. It's not really their fault, is it? It's my fault. We're going to start over here on the shelf with the adult books. Margaret Atwood, I have 2 unread fiction books from her. So obviously I read The Handmaid's Tale when I was 18 and thought it was just the most formative, amazing text ever. And I have read a few Margaret Atwood books since, and some of them I've liked and some of them I haven't liked. So I don't really know how I'm going to feel about these two. One is Lady Oracle and the other is Oryx and Crake. Actually, I have a 3rd unread book from her. Wait there. On my poetry shelf, I also have Eating Fire. So this is a selection of Margaret Atwood's poems. So I do actually have 3 unread books. You know what it is? I just get quite into collecting specific editions of books, and I really like these Margaret Atwood ones. It's difficult to say no to one of them when I see them. Tessa Bailey, again, I need to go into the other room. Okay, it was at the bottom of a stack on a high shelf. I'm not getting it. Unfortunately Yours, and I have Dream Girl Drama, and I actually think this is the 3rd book. Tessa Bailey does a lot of those romances that are completely different characters and you can read them standalone, but characters from the other books crop up, and I think that's what this is. And the book that is on the bottom of a pile that I can't be arsed getting out, Fangirl Down, which is the first book in this sports romance strand. I won't go on about this for too long because I have spoken about it recently, but I really loved when I first started getting into romance fiction, and I read a Tessa Bailey book and completely loved it. It completely changed how I felt about romance fiction. But actually I've read a few of her other books since then and I just haven't loved them. And my understanding of my taste in romance fiction has developed and changed, and I'm just not sure if I need all of these Tessa Bailey books, but I do have 3. I have 2 books from Lauren Bravo, so I got both of these from the adult division of the publisher that I work at. I do definitely still want to read these, I just haven't got around to them yet. Lex Croucher, I have these 2 books from the series that started with Reputation, which I really enjoyed, and then I have the follow-ups, Infamous and Trouble. I really do want to read these. 1, because I enjoyed them, but 2, because I actually want to get more Lex Croucher books, and I don't feel like I can do that until I have read these 2. I have 2 unread Marion Keyes books. Now, I actually think I am going to get more Marion Keyes books before I read these 2. Initially, when I discovered Marion Keyes, I read some of her later books and really enjoyed them, and then I went back and started to read her work in publication order. There were books that were published before these that I haven't read yet, so I do want to add those to my shelves and before I read these ones. I mean, I guess technically I don't have to, but that's just what I've been doing. I have 2 books from Irish author Louise Kennedy. Trespasses is her debut fiction novel, and I do really want to read this because I think I'll really enjoy it, but also I do want to watch the TV adaptation. And I was meant to read her short story collection in the most recent Irish Readathon, and I just didn't. Certainly read either the short story collection or the novel next couple months. I will. I have 2 books from Toni Morrison, so I have Home and The Bluest Eye. I don't really know anything about Home, but I know a fair amount about The Bluest Eye. And reading The Bluest Eye does appeal to me more, maybe just because I know more about it. I have read 2 or 3 Toni Morrison books, and she's a master, such an amazing writer. So I will read these. I just feel sometimes when I'm reading books by authors that are I know are so acclaimed and such impressive writers, I do feel I really need to focus in on them, and that sometimes prevents me from picking them up, and it totally shouldn't. I have 3 books from Lucy Vine. So I have 7 X's, Date with Destiny, and Book Boyfriend. Again, these are books that, similar to the Lauren Bravo books, I picked up from the adult division where I work. And I do feel I will really enjoy these. I just haven't got around to it yet. Okay, now we're going to do the children's and young adult shelves. So I have 2 books from Anna Zoe Quirk. I do really want to read these because they're meant to be really good celebratory queer YA. I have read a lot of Juno Dawson books, but I haven't read this one of her young adult novels from a few years ago, Clean. And I do also have one of her nonfiction books, The Gender Games, on my shelves as well. So I have 2 unread books from her. And then I also have 2 unread middle grade books from Catherine Doyle, another Irish author. I have really enjoyed her middle grade fiction. I do think I am going to get some more books from her coming onto my shelves this year because she is also published by the place that I work. These ones aren't. Some of her young adult novels are. So I do want to read these before those come onto my shelves. And there are a few authors on my work shelves, which is like this one here. I have a few unread books by mainly like fantasy authors. So Margaret Rogerson, Tracy Deonn, Holly Black, and F.T. Lukens. I'm not going to talk about any classics authors that I have multiple books unread from because like my classics TBR really exists in a different part of my brain. So how many did we have? So I think that was 10 authors, not including my workbooks, and then it's 14 when you include my workbooks. So I guess if I prioritize reading, like for the most part, one book from each of those authors over the next few months, I will be back on track for that goal, and then maybe a bit of extra effort for the authors where I have 3 books unread from. I'm really glad I checked in on this because that's more authors than I thought there would be. I'd love to know what you're like with this. Like, are you someone who you won't buy books from the same author unless you've already read what's on your shelves? Like, it is kind of mad that I have 3 books from some authors that I've never read anything from before. What emoji should I get you to leave? It is a very, very sunny day. So can you leave me a sunshine emoji? Knowing what the weather is like by the time this video is uploaded, it might be a rainstorm for all we know. But right now, it's sunny. That's it for me. I hope you're well, and I'll speak to you in my next video.